Alright, and to do maintenance on the reef tank, you have to use RO water. So what I do is I turn this on the night before and I fill this 30-gallon trash can all the way up with RO water. RO water is pure, it has everything stripped out of it, and then before I add the salt into there, I add trace elements into the water to put some of the minerals back in there, and then I run the hose all the way into the living room, and then I do my reef tank. I drain out about 25 gallons out of my reef tank. So this is what it looks like after the change. Um, you know, it's pretty cloudy for about an hour or two because I add that phosphate remover into there. I do about 50 drops, and I just change out my sock in the water, and that's pretty much it for the reef. And then later on, after everything clears up, I'll do a big feeding, and I'll feed my anemone once a month. I really don't feed the corals because that just adds a lot of trash and stuff to the water. And then for my rimless tank, we'll go over to it. So this tank is pretty cloudy right now, but I take out about this much of the water, and I refill it with regular tap water. I don't use any RO. But you know, I normally trim this, but I have a viewer that was requesting some of my floating plants, and I have some frog, a little bit of frog bit, and then this large duckweed and some water lettuce, and I'm gonna send them to her on Tuesday. And then I was thinking about doing a trim and throwing a few extra plants in there to go with it, because a lot of these plants can grow in a low-tech tank, so I figured I'd just throw them in there as well. Check out Captain America. That's a pretty fish. There's my rams. These Siamese algae eaters are getting huge. You might have to move them into the 125 in there in the fish room. So I'm gonna go back and show you what the 125 looks like after it's cleared up and everything. Alright, so as you can see, I finished the trim and the water changes on all the tanks. I removed the ugly snail eggs that were on the back of the filter over there. But yeah, so my goal is to get this to carpet out all the way over to here throughout the whole entire foreground right here, and then these plants in the back right here, I want them to grow up to about here, and then that way I can kind of stagger it down so it gives it more of like a 3D effect, and then also have it staggering down to the, you know, to a point like a slope, kind of like the reef tank in there. You know how I have a slope, you know, going down, so it gives it a little bit more dimension. And the other day I called this moss flame moss, but it's actually Christmas moss. I guess I got my mosses mixed up, but we'll see how this does and grows out. And I really don't have any ideas for this. I may start filling it in back there. Oh yeah, my hygrophilia back here, the purple plant, one right there, actually came back. So I just trimmed about 3 pieces, and when it grows up, it'll be purple, which is pretty cool. I'll be excited about that, and then I can start propagating that. And that was an expensive plant. And then the same thing over here. You know, I want these plants right here to grow up near this, right where this is, and then kind of taper it down, and then let everything in here fill in. And then you know, it's just gonna be a process. I'm gonna have to keep, you know, snipping everything down and then replanting it into little nodes until it fills in everywhere down here at the bottom. But it'll look great in about 3 or 4 months, and I'll take everybody along for the ride as the tank progresses. And then hopefully on payday, you know, in a week, I'll be able to go get some bigger fish for this tank right here. This tank is doing pretty good. The flowers are getting bigger. They're looking really nice. And these crypts they're going out of control. Some of the Grenada is actually growing back here in the shaded area, so maybe they don't like highlight, or if they are in highlight, maybe they have to have CO2, or it hurts them. Well, I don't know. I don't know much about them. If anybody has any information on the plant or is keeping it, and you have some good advice for me, let me know. It'll be greatly appreciated. But yeah, that's my Sunday routine, and the only thing I'm using for dechlorinator on these tanks and the tank in the living room is I'm just using Prime. I got some Chem products on the way, and they'll be here on Tuesday. And then on Tuesday we will be starting up the Flourish Excel project, and we will be running an experiment because this tank has received no extra dosing or anything like that. It's just been running as normal, and we'll see what kind of impact that has on these little foreground plants down here, and see if that helps them make a comeback, and maybe answer some questions, because I know that some people were skeptical. Does it work? I've used it in the past. It does help with this brown algae right here. If you're having brown algae problems like dust algae or black beard algae, like I had a little bit on this, but it's going away because my Siamese algae eaters they're eating it. But if you're having those kind of problems, it does help take care of it if you dose it every day, but that gets expensive. So that's it for my Sunday maintenance, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.